Thank you guys for coming. So we're going to talk a little bit today about a program we have to help get people's information about their homes to the fire department during emergencies. So I'm Lieutenant Adam Towner. I work on fire engine in Shrewsbury, but I also work on helping some of our technology come to fruition and some of our projects that kind of make us a little more efficient happen. So today we're going to talk about Community Connect. Community Connect is a program that gathers information from the townspeople. They go and put their own information in and get that information into our fire trucks while we're responding. So what I wanted to start out with quick is telling you a little bit about emergency services in Shrewsbury and about how an emergency call happens, and then we'll talk about the program. So real quick, Shrewsbury Fire Department has 3 stations. It's staffed right now with 3 engine companies. So 3 companies. Companies is a group of firefighters that work together. So we have 3 of those groups working at any given time. One at the Lake Station, which is down by Whole Foods. One at headquarters in the center of town, and one at Station 3 on Centec Boulevard by Hubert's Candy, if you guys are familiar. And mostly that's 3 firefighters or 2 firefighters and a fire officer working together on that one fire truck. At headquarters, it's not always just an engine company, but they can be staffing a ladder truck or a rescue truck, whatever's needed for that call. And we always have one shift commander riding in a car, and his job is to be in command of a scene, provide accountability, take care of any administrative tasks throughout the day, those kinds of things. And then we have an administrative staff who works Monday through Friday. So whereas everyone else is working 24 hours a day, administrative staff is working Monday through Friday in order to do behind-the-scenes stuff, budgeting, policy making, HR things along those lines that kind of make the fire department run. The police department, again, we work very closely with them. Like most calls that happen between fire, police, and EMS. The police department, they have their one station, and their shifts can run anywhere from 4 to 8 patrolmen and 1 to 2 supervisors. So patrolman, my understanding right, is in a police car, going out and answering calls, doing preventative things along those lines. They also have a detective and administrative staff. Detectives doing investigations, administrative staff working similarly to the fire department, right, working behind the scenes to make sure everything runs. And then there's 2 to 3 dispatchers. They're the staff that's answering the 911 phone call that someone may call in, providing resources to anybody out on the road, or answering any calls that may come in. So EMS in town is provided by contract from Worcester EMS, which is a department that is actually run by UMass Memorial Hospital. So we have 1 ambulance in town at Station 2. It's 1 paramedic unit that's staffed with 2 paramedics. And if they go out on a call, another paramedic ambulance will come from the city to cover the next call. So kind of the way it works out is that we have several fire stations throughout the town. If there's a medical call, the fire truck and the police department go. They first respond, and then the paramedics come there. So we're able to leverage more fire department staff and police staff to get there immediately, provide life-saving care, start the call, and then the ambulance goes where it's needed, and more ambulances come in. So some other things we may see in town sometimes too is if the EMS system, or if the ambulances throughout Worcester and Shrewsbury are in high demand, we may see other ambulances come in from other places. These are private ambulance companies that may come in, or we may see mutual aid ambulances come in from other fire departments. So that's why you may see sometimes a Shrewsbury fire truck, a Shrewsbury police officer, and maybe a Westboro ambulance parked out in front of a house, because we're all working together to cover all of the calls that are happening in our area. And once in a while you may see an EMS physician. So because that ambulance service is from UMass, and UMass is a teaching hospital, there are EMS physicians who are learning to be, they're already doctors and learning to work with EMS systems, and they may be out on the road providing care also, which is something that other communities don't have. So what happens when you call 911? We're going to go through a medical call that we would usually see the way it happens in town. It's going to give you some insight into why we use the Community Connect system and where it plays in. It'll give you guys kind of an idea how this works. So usually 911 is called by a bystander or somebody that's in need. Situation here, maybe there's a car accident, someone calls 911. The dispatch center at the Shrewsbury Police Department receives that call. 911, what's the address of your emergency? They find out that information. Then they take down, what the problem is and where they're going. If it's a medical call, they'll actually transfer that call to the Worcester EMS Communications Center. There are specially trained dispatchers there that provide emergency medical dispatch. They ask medical-based questions. They provide you with directions to do before emergency services get there. Something like a choking. They may walk you through how to do the Heimlich maneuver on the phone, kind of like what people have seen on television. While that's happening, the police department dispatches a police department unit and sends the information about the call to the fire department. And then the fire department dispatches the closest fire resource, closest fire engine. And the Worcester EMS Communication Center, while they're providing that information, talking to that caller, they send the paramedic unit in town. So if you can kind of picture this, that dispatcher's on the phone, talking to the person who's in need. While they're doing that, they're typing things into a computer. That information goes to another dispatcher who sends all these other resources to that location while they're still talking to them. Usually a fire department or police department arrives on scene first in most cases, because the ambulance is coming from one station and the fire trucks are closer to those locations from their other stations. They arrive and they begin to assess the patient, provide any emergent care, and gather information. Right? That's that immediate need for care that we can provide, or the information gathering that can make the paramedics' job a lot easier. EMS arrives on scene and they take over patient care from the fire department. We give them a report on what happened, and then we assist them anyway, whether it's helping them get equipment, supplies, helping them carry a patient or get someone out of their house, or even performing things like CPR or other things the paramedics might need us to do while they're doing their job. And sometimes we'll do things like drive the ambulance if both paramedics are needed in the back to treat the patient. And they always go from town to a Worcester hospital. And here's kind of that picture there. Right? This is a picture from a mock car accident that we do at the high school every year, usually right before prom, to give the kids some decision-making information on what they may do with their summer and their prom. So you can see here where we have, in the bottom left-hand corner here, we have a police officer and a paramedic working to put a patient on a backboard. We have a couple firefighters cutting that car to help a patient's trapped, and another paramedic providing care. And then you maybe have police officers in other locations, either controlling the crowd, providing traffic control, or helping with that, also with that patient care, or doing any investigation. So it's always a team that works together with all three agencies and the dispatchers. So now that you guys kind of have a little insight into how the fire department, the police department, and EMS run in town, let's talk about why this is important. This is a flyer that we've been putting out to different places. This provides the link to go and log in and create an account for Community Connect. But what Community Connect is going to do is allow a resident in town or a business owner to log in, answer some questions, put some information in, provide information so that when emergency services are responding to their house, we have some idea, whether it's where a hidden key is to get into their house, a code for their door, maybe what hazards they may have. Maybe this is a house that's on fire and someone is running a nail salon there, so they can let us know those things. Or there's a person with special needs or somebody with specific medical needs, and we can have that information on. So we're going to look at how to get to the website, how to log in, and then we'll look at how the information applies to us driving in the fire truck. So this is the first page you'll see. I have some handouts for you guys that'll give you the address. On this first slide here is a QR code that can help get you there, or our address for this down below. Again, I'll have some handouts for you guys if you need them. So this is the first page you'll get. Pretty simple. If you were to scroll down here, and we'll look at the page in a moment, you'd see a whole bunch of information about the program. But pretty simply, you press the button for residents or business owners, and this leads you to make an account. So let's look at that real quick. So this is the first page you'll get to that we saw. If you were to scroll down, you'll see some information about Community Connect, a letter from our chief. There's a video here that you can look at on how it works. It explains, this is from the company, explains how it works, how it's secure, what it's used for, and then there's some other information down below. Should answer a whole lot of your questions. And there's a frequently asked questions at the bottom. So let's say I was a resident and I wanted to join. Oh, hold on one second. I'm currently logged into another part of the system. So first thing that's going to come up is a part here that has you either register and make an account, and all you need to make an account is to know your address and have an email address. Once you log in, it's going to bring you to a page that's going to ask you a bunch of questions about your household. Anything from your info and your contact information to questions about your home. How many residents are under 18? Is this an apartment? Do you have an elevator? Do you have a fire sprinkler system? Do you have a pool? There's a whole bunch of information in here. It's stuff that the fire department would use to help respond. There is some emergency contact information here, and then if you had any people with functional needs. So anyone with any disabilities that may hurt them from getting out of the house, or anything that's specific medical problems, or anything that you think that would be helpful for the fire department when they respond to your house to provide the best service we can. Also, some information about your pets. So you can even, if you were to look at my house here, you'd find there's a picture of my dog. Some information about him, so that when we come, we can service everyone in your house.
So if I put my cat here and I call you, would you take my cat out of the tree for me?
So, a pretty funny question, right? The fire department. Most of the time, cats come down on their own, which is good, and it's a lot safer for them to do it that way. But where the fire department provides all kinds of service, right? We don't just come for fires, we don't just come for medicals. You could have a leaking pipe, you could have somebody stuck in a certain room. If you call the fire department, we'll come and help out any way we can. So we would address that in the best way we could. That happened. But this allows us to know that if we do come to your house and there's a fire, and maybe there's nobody home, maybe we know there's a large dog in there. Let's make sure it's all set. Or maybe your dog isn't friendly with strangers. And we can see that, we know someone that we think has fallen inside that house, but we know that they have a dog that's dangerous. So maybe we need to have animal control come help us so we can get to that patient safely. Anything like that. And then there's some access here, stuff. So you can look at some things here that tell you how to get into your house. I'm not going to pull them up because it's my house. I'll pull the dog back up. But that's a really good example of what we use this for. Let's say that you fell down in your basement. You were able to call 911 from your cell phone, but your house was locked. The fire department's going to come into your house to help you, and we do a very good job at trying to get into the house without causing any damage. But if we had the code to your lock on your front door, you told us where the hidden key was, that we can get in there easily without breaking anything, which also makes us able to secure the house afterwards. Right? So that's one of the biggest thing that we see in this is people giving us information about medical problems that people in their house may have, and also access to their house. Go ahead. Sure.
When you mentioned that about a key,
Yep.
you mentioned security on that, and we're putting in good information. This is wonderful for certain people. And how is the security on this?
I think it's a great question. So we'll kind of get into that now.
Oh.
This system is secure, right? Okay. Like all public safety systems, it requires someone to give someone access by making them an account, providing a secure password. So the fire department members have accounts to this system. And we have iPads in our fire trucks, which are secure in fire stations, which enable us to access information when we're responding to a call. So the information is never shared with anyone. No one from outside the fire department has accounts to be able to log into our system. This system not only does Community Connect, it provides for every kind of aspect of the fire department. Our staffing and payroll come from this program. We use this to do commercial inspections, which impact permitting. Everything from information about a secure bank to somebody's home. So it's something that we don't give out. We don't just send this information out. And the only way you get in is to use secure password. I think like any technology in today's times, it's all secure to industry standards. They're using secure servers up in the cloud, stuff that people don't hack into. Right? I can tell you that we've never seen a security problem with the system. I've never heard of one. There's lots of departments, large and small, big cities that have over 1 million people down to small towns of 10,000 people that use this. And I've never heard of an issue of any security problems. We have a pretty good community of people that administrate this program. But the biggest thing is we don't give the information out. So never would, say like some sort of company come in and say, hey, we'd like access to the information about these homes. We would never give it, right? It's just for the fire department. Does that kind of answer your question?
Absolutely. I don't want to direct anyone to where my key is.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's
it's
huge.
great. Thank you.
We take a lot of we take it very seriously that we're in people's homes all the time, especially when it's their biggest time of need. And we often let ourselves into people's homes when they're not home, right? And we have to make sure there's not an emergency. And we take that very serious. So we kind of apply that same thing to this program, where we would never let anybody else see the information. It's not getting given out to somebody's friend. It's not being broadcast over the radio. To actually give you a point here is there used to be in times if someone provided us with a code, we'd have a hard time trying to get that to the fire truck on scene from dispatch. Maybe it has to come out over the radio if it's like an immediate need. And that a radio is something that people who have scanners can listen to. This has actually provided us with a more secure means to get that information out. If that makes sense. Any other questions about the security side of it?
You may have heard of the emergency phone form that we used to have. I don't know. I wrote about it before because it was something that Pat Babin and I devised because people were concerned about, the fire department breaking down the doors, causing damage or whatever. And then, because I talked to a woman who said they broke my door to get to me, and now I can't even secure my house because she couldn't afford to have the door replaced. But this requires an email for people who don't have email. A form with the police department is being created so that they can do something with paper. That'll come next.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, like what you can do if technology isn't your thing and how they get into there. But let me kind of just show you a little bit more about this, and we'll kind of move on. So you kind of saw what kinds of things this program asks and how to get into it. We're not going to get into the exact step-by-step way of doing it because we'll provide you with some means to do that afterwards. And the video is really good. But what I wanted to show you is how we use it. Let's go back over here. You have to bear with me as we move through different screens here.
This is the best part. It's really amazing. All that stuff on the map.
Okay. So this is the system that we're using all the time. You can actually see up here, these are calls coming across that are happening in town. But let's look at how we use this, right? So here's a map of the town. It's all map-based. Let's look at how the fire department gathers information in pre-planning to be able to better serve community and make everyone's life safer and better. Okay. So here's a good example, right? For those of you guys who don't know, this is Whole Foods, right? This is all of Lakeway Commons Plaza right here. Yep, Station 2, our fire station's right here. And here's Whole Foods. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in this map. It's a satellite view, right? Something you'd see if you pulled up GPS on your phone or if you look at it on the computer. We have an iPad in each truck, which is showing this view. We're using it for simple things as far as being able to help us find a house we're going to, right? Not all houses are always numbered perfectly, nor are streets always exactly easy to find or straight through. Some streets are split in different directions. This provides us a lot of that information, but let's talk about this building. So that's a large building that we may have to go to in an emergency, whether it's a medical a fire, somebody stuck in an elevator. And what we can do is gather information through things like Community Connect, or when we're out viewing businesses or viewing homes, and have this information readily available to us. So here's a good example. Here's Whole Foods, right here. Here's where their elevator is. Here's where a box is located that has a locked key in it that only the fire department can access. Here's where their fire alarm control panel is. Here's a stairway here, a stairway here, and we have another lockbox over here, and some other information, other icons. This is kind of a simple show of how we start to gather information so that we're on our way to a call, we have that intelligence. Let's take something as simple as a fire, right? People think, fire department, think fire. Maybe we're on the way to this building and we need to know, we're getting reports that there's a fire in the elevator room. We can use this mapping or information we've gathered about these buildings to know exactly where we're going, to know what hazards we may find, or to know where people might be. So we could even have that shift commander we talked about in front of this building, directing different units like a conductor, doing an orchestra. He's moving fire trucks around with people around to fight the fire. And he might know, okay, I know I have a stairwell over there. I know I have an elevator here. I know I have an electrical panel over here. And he can help direct those people or know where they are and make not only the service we provide better, but the safety of the firefighters better.
Well, if there's gas, the gas shut off.
Yep, that's another great example too, right? We have all those things everywhere. When we start to grab Community Connect information, we can do things as simple as finding out, let's see if we can find one, where somebody's key is. And maybe I'm not going to pull that up now, just because I don't want to give away anybody's information. But even if we look at one of these apartment buildings here, we can see here's another, this is a icon that tells us where roof access is. This is a fire alarm control panel. And let me go to the fire station. We can show you stuff about that. So if we go to the fire station here, we were to come in and look at this building. Again, we have some icons on here. Here's a fire alarm control panel. In the back here, this is the gas shutoff for that building. And let's learn about this building here. So we can not only click on these buildings, give me one sec here. And we can learn about the building. So if you think about how many houses or how many homes or businesses are in town, it's thousands, right? I want to say we're somewhere around 15,000 households, something along those lines if you factor in the apartments, and we have a ton of commercial buildings. There's no way that we can know every single one of those in our heads, especially when you take a brand new firefighter who may be on the job for a week, and the knowledge maybe a firefighter who's been there for 30 years has amassed. So getting that all into the system provides a lot safer for us. So you can see that we can see right away, this is Shrewsbury Fire Station 2. It was built in 1951. It's one story and is around 1,900 square feet, right? Gives us a quick snapshot of what this building is. We also have some information here. It tells us the gas shut off. I can click on it. If there's any notes, that it's had past electrical work, that it's gas, that it has a section that's more than one story, and that's the section below. It's an industrial building with an alarm panel. It's got a brick exterior and a basement. If we scroll down, we can also see a whole bunch of information. The information that is viewable in the assessor's database, you can go online and view assessor information about any building in Massachusetts, automatically comes in. So we can see things that are simple as what kind of building this is, again, what the floors are made out of, what the heat type is, all of the things that we would need to help us make decisions about the conditions of that building under a fire, under some sort of hazard.
So Adam,
Yep.
the assessor's database also lists permitting in case somebody has done some renovations in their house or major renovation.
Sometimes we have a permitting system that we can access. It doesn't directly feed into our program the same way the assessor's information does, but it does. We do have some stuff that does give us more of those things, right? We're kind of just scratching the surface of what we we can get for information about buildings so that we can provide the best service and be safe. Just kind of pointing parts of it out. But what you would find in here, and we're not going to find anything about this building just because there's nobody who has a Community Connect account saying they live at fire station number 2. But inside here is where you would find all that information that you put inside the system. And that's going to provide really important stuff. I'll give you a good couple examples. We get called to somebody's house because the neighbor sees in the wintertime a whole bunch of water coming out under their garage door. Maybe those the people that live there are snowbirds and they go to Florida for the wintertime, and we get there and find that it looks like their heat might have died and their pipe broke. In the past, we'd have to either try to gain entry through forcible entry, maybe damaging a door, damaging a window to get inside. But maybe we go in with a Community Connect and say, oh, they're a Community Connect subscriber. They show, here's the code to get into their garage. They have some information here on their emergency contact, maybe their cell phone numbers. We go in, we find out, yep, there's a broken pipe. We shut off the water to their house, limiting damage. And now we're stuck in a situation here where that home needs to be tended to, or it's going to get worse, and there's going to be even more damage. We have that emergency contact information. We call them. We get in contact. They're made aware, and they find a family member or service to come out and start remediating that problem. In the past, we wouldn't have those tools. We might ask some neighbors. We might hope that somebody told them that we came to their house. We may leave a note, but we may not talk to those people for a few weeks till they get home from vacation or being away. Another great example is we get, again, called to maybe someone has an elderly parent who lives in a home and they fall along. And we get there and we find out, okay, we can't get into their house. We received an emergency alert from a medical alarm company. And now we know that their son or daughter maybe has enrolled them in this. And they put that information in that we can get into their home to help them. With less damage, we can also maybe find the contact information to get in touch with a family member, things like that. So it's really kind of changing the way that we've done things in the past and providing a lot more tools. So where do we go from here? We realize that not everybody is into technology, right? Not everybody is good at getting into these programs or making accounts. One of the things we're doing is working with the senior center here to provide some training and some orientation for their staff to be able to help the community that comes to the senior center get logged into the system. We have some handouts that we can give to people that will help them get here. They can watch some videos to help. We're really hoping that our campaign to get information out there kind of goes word of mouth, and people tell people and tell their neighbors and go that way. The more people we can get into the system, the closer we can get to that 15,000 households, the safer this can be for everybody. So what we'll do afterwards is we'll answer any questions. We'll provide some handouts to you guys. You can take as many as you want. We'll leave some here. We're going to do some training with Renee and her staff and get everybody up to speed. And then you can contact the fire department if you need any help. So kind of getting back to the end here till we get to questions. Here's my information, right? There's my email. If anyone needs to get in any contact, they can contact me. That's my office number that goes mostly to my voicemail because I ride on a fire truck. But I'll help people return phone calls. You can call fire headquarters at any time, and those guys will kind of point you in the right direction too. But really, that's kind of just a quick overview of how emergency calls happen and where this fits into our job and how it works. So at this point, I'm going to kind of open up if you guys have any questions. We can look at any aspects you want to look at. If you have any questions, I can maybe show you some stuff. So any questions from you guys?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment
Yep.
that for me anyway, this is very timely. That's all I could say right now. Yeah, and it's just timely to have that information there. My husband is ill, he said,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
and,
that.
you know, so that's good.
Okay.
You know, so, yeah, and I've also had, in terms of a compliment here to you guys, 2 years ago or so, when I had to call emergency to get someone here, the fire department, the woman on the phone was like, go to your front door, and something with my husband. The fire department was there,
Yeah.
the police, and then later the ambulance. So everything you said, I witnessed.
Mhm.
And it was seamless, and it was successful, and everything else.
Great.
You know, so what you presented there was my experience.
Good, I'm glad.
In a positive way.
I'm glad it was positive. I'm sorry that you had to call us.
Yeah.
But the staff at the fire department, the police department, and EMS, they take the job seriously, and they have a lot of pride in it, so they're working hard to do that, so I'm glad it was a good experience.
And my dogs were happy, but I had to get them out of the room.
But yeah, I'm surprised,
They were wagging their
sometimes the
tails.
guys want to pet the dogs.
They did,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you know, you stay over here, so that was, yeah, so.
I'm glad it was a good experience, I'm
Yeah.
sorry you had to have it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was all good.
Any questions at all?
I agree too. We've had interactions too, and you've been wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
That's great. I guess my question only is, so like what kind of information, if they have not enrolled in this program yet, what information do you have available? Like what kind of heating system they have, or will
Yeah,
water shut
let's,
off?
we can go through one, let's see if we can kind of create a fake account and go through it. Give me one sec. We can look at each section.
I've already enrolled, but I think I have to go back and change some things. at this
Sure.
point.
Let's take a look and see if we can make it a little easier. Okay, so if we were a resident, we were coming in, and again, I know we didn't really talk about it, but if you have any business owners that you know, this is huge for them also, right? We provide service to business owners, we go to fire alarms at their place all the time, we have the same kind of emergencies, but businesses aren't usually staffed at night, whereas homes usually are. So we often find times of needing to try to get in contact with business owners or tenants of commercial spaces in the middle of the night. In this program, them getting registered helps us a lot to do those things. So let's see if we can register an account. See if I can put a quick one in here. All right, let's see. All right, we've actually already used that one, so let's see. See if we can get into another one. I don't want to go into mine because you'll see all the information to get into my house, so. Give me one sec, we'll do. Let's see if we can, there's another way we can do this. Yeah, we might have to look at mine, we'll just have to block some stuff out.
It's being videotaped, you know.
I know, that's what I'm trying to,
You know what's great about this, because, you know, people who live alone, and if they have a fall,
Mhm.
and somehow they're brought to the hospital, if you had to break the door down, now that person might be in the hospital, you never know, for days, and who's gonna secure the house? How's the
Yep.
house gonna get secured, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's hard for me to get into it and show you, but basically, what you kind of need to know, I'm just gonna put up the blocks and the stuff, is that a lot of it's gonna be your information, right? Your contact information. There's gonna be a section for emergency contacts. You put anyone you want in there. Maybe you have you, yourself, somebody else, and maybe a family member that lives someplace else. And the big thing there is gonna be current phone numbers. You can go in and adjust anytime as things change. There's some questions they're gonna ask you, things like, where are your bedrooms? How many bedrooms do you have? How many people under 18 do you have? Where is your family's meeting place, right? If there is a fire, where does everyone meet? Where your utility shutoffs are, water, gas, electrical. How to best access your home, like where's the best door to go in? What the door code might be to your house. Those are all questions in there. What pets you have, you can go and put in. And all of those are good. The more you fill out, the easier our job is. And again, it's stuff that we take very seriously to keep safe.
And for medical stuff, you could even put in whether, like you say, if people have accessibility
Mhm.
issues, maybe there's a person that has Alzheimer's or related dementia, and they could get confused, and
Mhm.
maybe bright lights would bother them if you got that, or an autistic child, or.
Yep, people on oxygen, people that maybe are diabetic, people who fall a lot. Children or other members of your family who are autistic. What the best way is to care for them. All stuff that we're really just looking for to try to provide the best care and service we can. And a little bit of this too is making sure that we're safe, right? Maybe we come across a home that's abandoned, and we know that there's a hole in the floor in this section of the home, or we know that this home has not been secured, and there could be people coming in and vandalizing it. Those kind of buildings are a lot more dangerous for us to fight fires in. So having that information to a house that maybe that firefighter who's even been on 10 years has never been to, because there's thousands of homes in town, they can readily have it available on every home, the more information we get in, if that makes sense. So it's hard for me to show you all of the different things you can fill out, but if you go in there and kind of fish through it, you'll find some stuff.
I must have glossed over the whole thing,
Yep.
because I did part of it, and then I panicked, and I just, backed out of it.
Yeah.
How many people have actually connected private residences?
We are up around almost to 1,000. Now, we've just kind of launched this, and our goal is to get as many as we can. And, there are a lot of different aspects to it. Maybe someone lives in an apartment here and they're a student at UMass Medical School. They get their information in, they move out, another student moves in later on, they can go in and create an account and put their information in. So we have the ability to manage this information and also to help people with their accounts. You asked about security, we can go in and shut off an account if we need to. We can go in and manage those things the same way we would manage kind of any software suite.
How does it work though, if the previous student didn't shut off their account? How do you think you have two people?
We manage all of that.
Yeah.
So if you were to come in and there was already an account for your address, it would give you a message. It would give you ways to communicate. You'd let us know. We'd make sure that's correct. We'd remove the old account. You go in and make your new account, and we're ready to go. It's really a very easy to use system that's providing tons and tons of help for us. I guess the only thing I'll kind of add at the end, and well, have you both already? You said you've both already enrolled or in the process at some point. Okay, I'm just going to play a quick video for you. That kind of gives you a quick overview from the company.
As your fire and EMS agency, we are here to ensure we do whatever it takes to protect you and your family. However, there are many valuable pieces of critical information that can help save lives and property in a real emergency that we don't know until we arrive at your door. Things like how many occupants to expect at your home, if anyone has access or functional needs, or speaks another language, whether or not you have pets or livestock, structural details like where the bedrooms are, or even where hazardous materials may be located. But now, with Community Connect, you have the power to keep us informed of nearly everything that matters, so we can better serve you when emergency strikes. Community Connect is a safe and secure online program available at no cost to all residents that allows you to provide us with critical property and occupant information that we can access at the time of response, leading to better outcomes in case of fire or medical emergency. So, what are some examples of the kind of information you can contribute? First, your family members. Who lives at your residence and how to get in touch during an emergency. Next, your property. Things like where your family's bedrooms are located, your gate and door codes, if you have a pool or basement, how to shut off water and electricity, and even where your family's emergency meeting place is located. Your needs. Details regarding functional needs like mobility, Alzheimer's, autism, severe allergies, visual or hearing impairments, and more. And last but not least, your pets. Their picture, their names, their habits, and even their veterinary information. So no matter what happens, your furry family members are always known about and taken care of. Signing up is easy. From any internet-connected device, it just takes a phone number, email, and an address. Rest assured, all of your data is safe and only available to our first responders during the time of response using the same data security and encryption standards found in online banking. If you have 5 minutes to sign up, please select the link to create your profile and get started helping your first responders help you.
Any questions at all? I know that you guys had some great questions, but if there's anything we can do to make this easier, if you have any neighbors or friends that you tell us about that we can help, please direct them to us. Our goal is to really just get this out, the word out, and get anybody any help they need to get logged in, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.